It's on it. Hi, before us we have Devon Blackwood. He's going to be talking to us today. The first question that I have is, what life lessons can you share?
Uh, well, number one, life is like a journey. Um, Sometimes you make bad decisions. It's all there for you to reevaluate yourself and learn and do better from the mistake that you make. You learn from your mistake. Uh, Life is a teacher itself. It teaches you lessons, and you have to learn. If you don't learn, then you're gonna keep on making the same mistake over and over. So I would say life it's good and it's great, and I mean it's life is so wonderful, but you gotta just do what is right and look at somebody who you can have as a role model. You know, always good to have a role model, somebody who footstep you want to follow, and you do what that person do, and you will succeed.
Okay. Thank you for that one. Next question would be, what would you do differently than others to raise a child?
What I would do differently than others to raise a child? Well, I have a boy coming,
Okay.
and what I would do differently to raise him is show him love, show him how to respect and care for other, show him teach him to be respected and other to respect him, and learn as much as he can, grasp as much as he can, and just do what he love, and being supportive of what he's doing.
Okay. Thank you for that one. How would you, well, pretty much that kind of answered the third question, so I'm going to leave that third question out. My fourth question would be, how would you handle a kid? Because, it is difficult at times, so how would you handle a kid?
Handle a kid sometimes can be challenging, but the best thing about handling a kid, you gotta be patient,
Okay.
because as an adult, they're not gonna do what you always want them to do, you know, and that's where patience come in, and you gotta go down to their level and let them understand that you were a kid also. So you have to let them realize that you once was there, and handling a kid it can be fun. Handle a kid. As I said, you got to build a bond with them, let them free to talk to you,
Okay.
and you can build a relationship with him or her. Let them free to say what they want to say, what's on their mind, and if something going on in school that day, let them feel free to come home and talk to you about it.
Okay. Thank you for that one. Next question would be, what are the pros and cons when you're raising a child?
The pros and the cons. Well, um, it's like you gotta draw a line, where you gotta stay in this in this line,
Mm-hmm.
where you don't expect them to go out and do certain things. You make them know what you stand for and what you don't stand for, what you want them to be and what you don't want them to be.
Okay.
You know, you got to give them like a guideline towards to make them have a, you know, a better life or a successful life or a life that they will be uh, you know, learn and loving and things of that nature.
Okay. Thank you for that question. The next question would be, how do you fit time management with dealing with a child?
Oh my God. Well, that's my favorite one, because if you set a time, you gotta keep the time.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, setting a time, you gotta give yourself time to make sure that anything happen. Like if I'm going to work,
Mm-hmm.
I leave before time just in case I have a flat tire.
Okay.
So if I should be at my job like 5:30,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I gotta give myself an extra time to get in and maybe have a cup of coffee or whatever, so I can keep on top of time. So whatever, if you say you're gonna set up time for a meeting or even a date, you know, you gotta be stick to that time. You set a time and you stick to it, no matter what. And if there's an emergency, then you gotta communicate with the person or the company or whatever, because emergency do happen at times.
Okay. Thank you for that question. The next question will be, what would your values be for your child?
My values are high because you gotta aim for the sky.
Okay.
So I would value, life is valuable, first of all, you know. You gotta value things. You gotta put value on people. You gotta put value on things. So my value and my child was be like, you know, you don't take things for granted.
Okay.
Meaning that you don't take anybody for granted. I don't allow anybody to take you for granted, for that matter.
Okay.
So the question was,
What would your values be for the child?
yeah, just be, you know, being vulnerable, and I mean just put value and what you're doing,
Okay.
you know.
Thank you for that question. The next question is, how will you discipline your child?
Discipline your child the way they should go, that when they turn big women, big men, they will never depart from it.
Okay.
So you gotta discipline a child. You gotta discipline, like, you know, if you say, okay, my child is 17-year-old
Mm-hmm.
and he's supposed to be in the house like 10 o'clock,
Mm-hmm.
and 10 o'clock he's not in the house. He came in like 5:15, 30 minutes later. Then you gotta, you know, same thing with time management and all of that. You know, you gotta discipline them. You gotta make sure that, you know, you let them know that it's not acceptable. You know, you gotta make them know that that's not what they accept of them.
Okay. Thank you for that question. The last question I have is, are you going to do everything to give your child the best life, and how?
As a parent and as a father, you have to do everything to give a child a better life, better than even the one that you got. You know, make sure that that child, a matter of fact, before that child even born is child, you have to, you know, set aside like college funds and you know school stuff and all those stuff that gonna make him a better person. You know, better person than even yourself, because as a father, you gotta make sure that you do everything. You know, if you gotta work to whatever it takes, you're gonna take money, you're gonna take times, you're gonna spend quality times with him. You gotta, you know, have funds to make sure he go to um, different classes that he wanted to do, and you know, just for the better word is like it's like you're helping him to become the person that he wants to become.
Okay.
And that you got to go all the way to make sure he have that.
Okay.
You know, and direct him in first of all, you got to it's like if he say he want to become a doctor, right? And you say, all right, you know, I'm your father, I'm gonna have to make sure you become a doctor. You gotta make sure, you know, or even a football player, you gotta take him to practice. If he's a doctor, then you gotta make sure he study like what you're doing now. You know, you're asking questions for your school, that's which is good. I would try to do my best to answer, you know, this question so you can get a better grade for you to achieve what you want to achieve in life and be successful, and just look back and see how much you know, it would be like a joy for me for you to you know, get the best grade in your class, to be on top of your class. And whatever it takes, if it takes for me to do a video, or if it takes for me to come to your class, or come to a parent teacher meeting, or you know, whatever I have to do for that to happen, then I will do it as a parent. And I think every parent should do that.
All right. Thank you so much. We're gonna wrap it up from here, and I thank you for this, you know, talk about raising a child and all the values.